Alright, this is gonna be my impromptu, no BS, elemental shaman guide for classic World of Warcraft. I hope you're ready. Why should anyone play Ellie? Because it's fucking awesome. Because Ellie scales differently than any other class spec in the game. Ellie slaps naturally with its abilities. It scales less from gear than other classes. That's not necessarily a great thing, but if you put a warrior next to an Ellie Shaman with the same buffs and no world buffs, then the Ellie Shaman should win every time. Even though with warrior world buffs, they're gonna destroy and damage in PvE, you still have a chance. Alright, next up, let's go over specs. There's quite a few different things that we can play in terms for Ellie to be viable and good. You don't have to play Resto at all to be a great healer in a raid. Don't tell my guild I said that. So start off, if you want to play Ellie and you want to play PvE, the kind of glass cannon spec if you want to play it, go down to Elemental Mastery, pick up all the damage talents that you can. Call of Thunder, totems are not necessarily as good in this patch, but will be later when fire resistance bosses aren't so crazy. Just mainly focus on all the damage talents if you can. Go into Resto all the way down to Title Mastery so you get the extra crit. This way you're going to have great healing capability. I mean, you're going to lose a little bit, about 10% healing, but again, the way that Shamans scale and the way that your role is more of a raid healer, so you don't need to blast out huge single target heals. As long as you can help when you need to, that's what you need to do. So it's kind of like glass cannon spec. I wouldn't recommend it as much because it's not as fun for PvP, PvE, and everything else. Personally, this is a spec that I play, my version of Ellie Resto. I find to work with everything and save me lots of money because there's no way I'm respecking every week because I don't have that much gold and I'm not going to farm for hours to do that. So my Ellie Resto spec goes down to EM, which is a little bit different than most because I think the benefit of Elemental Mastery is solid. Having a free crit with a shock right behind a chain lightning is huge. It's way better than having a instant cast nature swiftness in PvE at least. PvP, that's definitely different. This is not the most optimized PvP build, but it definitely works for everything. Farming, PvE, PvP, you can do it all. You can do it all well. You could go on Warcraft logs and check out Warcraft logs and see what we're doing over there and just kind of compare what this spec actually does and also what other specs they're running. But I would recommend this for just all the time. You know, you get kick protection, you're losing very little, you're losing your nature swiftness for a big heal, but I don't know about you guys, I'd rather just kill them in one shot anyway, because that's a lot more fun. And then we just have one more spec to talk about. Let's turn this crazy trap down. Is like true Ellie Resto with more Resto, so you're coming to raid to heal, but you can subsequently do damage, you know, in downtime or less damage time, because primarily if you're coming to heal as a shaman, you're coming to heal the raid, and that's just about it. Every other role should be taken up in your guild unless you're not that organized. But this way you get nature swiftness to give you that free big heal every 3 minutes. You know, that's going to be your tank save in case somebody dies. You know, that's just your oh shit button that you can incorporate with your free max rank big heal. I don't think you need improved healing wave because it's all about healing time. Usually if you're a shaman, you're just going to be raid healing. So you're spamming rank 1 and rank 3 chain heal and then popping lesser heals in there just as flash heals just to help catch everyone up. Alright, so got the specs out of the way, so let's talk about gear. The thing about Shaman gear is it all has intellect on it, which is going to help you. Like I said earlier, Shaman scales very well for the long term and just to what their abilities can do. And you can really outplay someone with just your abilities alone, even if they have like you know, significantly better gear than you, as long as you can min-max your abilities, down rank properly, and just be efficient. So for my full Ellie set, this is kind of what I just run around in the world with, because it's important to have gear and have health. Because if you're being out farming, you don't want to continuously get ganked, especially by rogues. I find it I don't want to wear a lot of cloth. 1 or 2 pieces is fine, especially if they're like high crit pieces. I try to stick to high crit more than high spell power, just because crit's going to carry you a lot further in PvP. Right now we're looking at about 18%, with a couple little random buffs here and there that may go up. You know, I use Hand of Ed because it changes the class. It makes it 10 times more fun. You know, there's 100,000 warriors in PvP, and you know they get on you, and you get a Hand of Ed proc from a free melee swing. You get a free chain lightning into a shock crit into a totem, and they're dead. So it just makes it fun. So I want to prioritize stamina, armor, and crit as much as possible. The tier 2 is fantastic. In my opinion, it's probably the best set in the game for PvP, at least right now, with the extra 3% nature crit. And you also get, you know, a little cool bonus for chain heal too, if you need to, you know, help your squads out. All right, let's switch to PvE set. More importantly, it's horribly ugly, but it gets the job done. You're gonna go back to blues from purples, but we're gonna do a little bit better. All right, Nixie's dropping. So prioritize spell power above all. Crit's pretty good in PvE, but not near as good as it is in PvP. It really carries about half the weight. Hit's your main stat. You want to get a hit as much as you can. That's actually kind of difficult. I don't know why these didn't save last night. These are not the rings I should be wearing. Should be wearing ring of spell power and Zanzils. There's a lot of really good upgrades for Ellie in ZG. You know, it's ease of access, get in there. There's a lot of competition, but try to pick those items up as much as possible. Make your Bloodvine set. I was really hesitant, but I tested them both out. You know, I was rocking full tier 2 for the raids and getting good parses, but it really makes a difference when you throw the Bloodvine on. But again, I'm really weak. I'm like 3,600 health, but I'm pretty strong. But now I'm pretty exposed out in the open. But if we throw the big boy gear on, then we can have a little bit more fun. Maybe catch somebody off guard here. So we got a lot more health, a lot more mana pool. Ellie is primarily about doing one thing, and that's using your mana. If you can use your mana in an efficient, calculated way, by the time the boss fight's over, you did a good job. Little juke. That's why Ellie's fun. Okay, back to the video. Third PvE set is my healing set. I'm gonna rock this when you know, we're not having a good night necessarily, or we're struggling with deaths. You know, you want to be flexible as an Ellie and be able to heal as much as possible if they need you to. You know, they asked me to heal some fights, no big deal. It's not about the parse, it's about, you know, helping the guild. You're there for fun anyway. So just prioritize having a fat ass mana pool, because your base spell power is pretty solid already. You know, you want to get as much healing as you can, but as an Ellie, I'm not really going to prioritize getting healing gear if I'm allowed to raid as Ellie. It's just going to kind of come naturally with the gear anyway. I like to run 3-piece, 5-piece for when I need to heal. So 3-piece tier 2 gives you 30% increased chain heal, which is fat. This is the only reason why you're coming to raid, is to freaking throw totems down and chain heal. So have fun with that. There you go. And if you need to spot heal, I'd like to use 5-piece tier 2. There we go. 5-piece tier 1, excuse me, for the 5 set, which gives you mana back on your healing wave. So if you need to spam a couple of quick healing waves, some people die, or you know, you need to oh shit moment, you can crank them out pretty easily. All right, next up, talk about Ellie consumes. Ellie's not too bad. I mean, you can min-max as much as you want, nickel and dime. You know, BGUs, you can nickel and... Oh, shit, I'm probably going to need to change gear before somebody jumps me. You could nickel and dime as much as you want. Use BGUs. You can go to the blasted lands and get the little buffs. The little intellect buffs definitely help. But, you know, if you want to do it kind of quick, just get Runtime Tuber Surprise, intellect bonus, little crit, little mana bar. It's all about keeping mana and being able to throw lightning bolts anyway. Other than that, go Greater Arcane Elixir. I would always bring limited invulnerability potions because you carry so much threat, especially in the trash and PWL. There's a lot of mobs that are take a lot of damage to nature, and you pull threat super hard. So you don't want to die and drop all your world buffs before you get to the later bosses. So just bring a lip. They're not that expensive. Major mana pots all day, baby. Just bring them. Once your guild starts killing shit fast enough, you don't even need more than one per boss, most likely. Pop it early, though. Pop it often if your guild does not kill fast. Also, if you want to be real nerdy, you can grab Frost Power potions and then weave in Frost Shock. That's another story, and it's really mana intensive. Of course, flask, you buy a flask if you want, but on my server they're like 250 gold. That's kind of ridiculous, so I really try to only get those on full raid buff days when the Darkmoon Fair is in. I always like to grab a bunch of little greater mana pots too. I just take them like mana shots, just throughout the night, keep them on cooldown except for boss fights. You know, I want to save my big boy mana pot for boss fight, but if I have these in between, you know, that allows me to help my team, help me get off reses more, maybe, you know, help healing, or just stay higher mana so that I don't have to continuously drink and I can do more damage more often. Because if you're speed running, you just want to keep up the pace as much as possible. That brings me to my next point, is what your role is. You know, if you talk to your guild and your guild is okay with Ellie Shaman raiding, you're most likely going to know that you're going to need to heal at some point. You're one of the least damage classes, but you can still hold your own, especially if your whole group dies without world buffs. Then you're actually really solid. Your gear now at this stage of the game will carry you quite well. It's just that other classes, especially warriors, perform so much better with world buffs opposed to Ellie Shamans. But what are you to do? But the best thing is just to be flexible. There's a lot of jobs inside of raids that I do and that you could do to make yourself more available. Example, cracking eggs on the first boss on BWL. The best person to do that's like an Ellie Shaman or a Shadow Priest. You still get to damage the boss. You get to save all your mana for the boss. It's a win-win scenario for you, and you're helping your guild, you know. These meme specs, Ellie Shaman, you know, Feral Druid, yeah, Feral may be a little bit more needed. But, you know, you want to help out your guild as much as possible and know your role. You're also a badass healer, so if a couple healers died, toss out heals. You know, it's not about just cranking Chain Lightning till the boss is dead. Do what your guild needs in the time that they need it. Just be helpful in general. You know, I purge on, Shaz and MC. Just try to do little things. That's what the Greater Arcane Protections potions are for. Just all the little things. Just ask them how you can benefit. Because your guild doesn't need many Ellie Shamans. But if you get to play Ellie, it's a lot of fun. There are a lot of links that I like to recommend. If you want to check out other stuff. I learned most of my stuff from Def Camp and Melderon. They're on YouTube and they're awesome. They're very like scientific in their approach. And if you like more of an analytical approach rather than off the cuff, go check them out. Also, I would recommend my60upgrades.com, even though it sounds like a cheesy infomercial. This is one of the best tools to be able to find your gear, what you need, what's an upgrade, talk about best in slot. Because oftentimes, you know, Mishendirs, for example, best in slot helm. Yeah, it's a best in slot, but, you know, I know that there's, you know, 10 mages, 3 warlocks in front of me that's most likely going to get that. So I'm going to go to ZG and try to get something very comparable to that, which I should be able to get, like the hex cover, which I already have. So it's not all the time about going for best in slot. You know, just go for best in slot or second best in slot or what you have. Fill in what you need. Try to get as much hit as possible. Try to get as much spell power as possible, but maintaining a large mana pool. And yeah. Oh, shit. Juked him. And this is why you play Ellie, boys. Right there. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Send me a message. I'll be live on Twitch on Tuesdays at 6:30. Twitch.tv/shamdirty. Have a good night.